As are, we're back, mate. Episode 11. Hope you're well. How you been? What's going on? Has it been a crazy week, good week, confusing week? What sort of week have you had, mate?
Episode legs 11, mate. Is that what they say? Legs 11? Is
Legs
that what they
11.
say in bingo?
Ah,
Something like
legs
that.
11. I don't know.
Legs 11. It's something like that, isn't it?
I don't go to bingo. Do
Gosh.
you go to bingo?
No, I've never been to bingo. No.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, just for something to do, because you've got all these things now you want to do because you haven't been able to do anything. But no, going all okay this end, mate. Just hanging out, sitting, waiting. Family's all good. I think we were talking about before how it could be a little bit confusing right now, given the skerricks of information that are coming out about different bits and pieces around how the state's probably handled the situation so far. But yeah, I don't know. We just got to, as best we can, keep our heads down, battle on, and look. I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. We're not too far away, mate. So I'm looking forward to getting back to a bit of normality, get back into the coaching, and see what next year could possibly bring. How are you going?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm like you. Like I said when we spoke before we started, was the confusion, mixed messages. I'm not a supporter of either or. I'm just being a generic view here that everyone's saying this, everyone's saying that, everyone knows this, everyone knows that, everyone's got a better fact sheet than the other fact sheet. It's just, it's just.
What do you make of it? It's just it's mentally jarring, isn't it? Just mentally jarring.
And you got to work out, just because it's an upload doesn't mean it's fact. Just because it's been written doesn't mean it's fact. And so I'm not judging.
We're not conspiracy theorists here. It's just I'm sure a lot of people are sort of along the same sort of lines, aren't they? They're sort of saying they're just mentally tired of it. I think that's all it is.
Well, it's going to be one day what social media will do when we come out of this. Are people going to say, well, we don't need it anymore? Are we going to park it? Are we going to rest it? Because all the things going on now with that social dilemma. I think that show that came out on Netflix.
I've got to watch that. Apparently, it's really good.
Yeah,
thought-provoking.
It's freaking a lot of people out. It's putting a bit of fear in people's thoughts. The accessibility and all these different theories. But unfortunately, especially now, we need it. Just have some sort of engagement. So it's sad that when you have to engage in something that's just full of negativity or confusion, mate, it's tiring me out. I wish I could shut it down. I wish I could just move away and come back when everything's normal, but it's not real. I go on social media to see what is happening, what's going on for especially for the TS brand, so we can work out what change we can bring or implement that might be beneficial to the community. Otherwise, I'd rather just turn it off and not be a part of it. But we need it.
We do need it. So we talk about change and brand. So we've got Transition Media Group, Dazza.
Yes, mate.
So you want to talk our viewers through the Transition Media Group and what we're all about?
Well, it's not officially complete in the final part of what I'm achieving, but yesterday I put a concept out there just to give a bit of an idea that I'm looking at after COVID. We want to maintain engagement. We want to maintain a bit of storytelling. It's good to hear different stories from different walks of life. We want to connect the community. It's a bit divided at the present. And we also want to use this platform to energize and motivate people to try and come out a better version of themselves, where they're struggling, confused and stuck, or in a rut, or just need a bit of an spring in their step. I'm hoping that we create a platform. And this will be in sport, workplace, schools. It'll be digital platform, but also personal. Even though personal probably doesn't come under the media, but we'll do workshops, which we're doing now that no one knows about, with some schools, and we're doing some meetings through them. And so we're going to continue that. We're getting some great results and responses. We'll in a bit more detail in a few more weeks, but we'll have a launch in the near future. First, get TS up and running and back open again, and then the TS, the Transition Media Group, will be the next thing that I want to spend a lot of my heart and soul into. I think it's got a lot of positives to bring into the community. That's the main thing.
A lot of upside, a great way to sort of keep the community together, because we're all located far and wide. And look, I mean, as we gradually will hopefully get back to some sort of level of normal, whatever that may look like, this is going to be a great tool for that.
Oh, and look, I didn't know that at the start, but the word transition, we're going to be transitioning once again in our lives. So again, I just want to keep it all going, and we've had some great support from the local community, especially Paul Hopper from Hopper Motor Group. He's been actually pushing me a little bit more to say, Daz, it's a good direction you're taking. You and me having fun with this, but get a lot of feedback with some positive support. So as I continue it in different ways. So exciting.
It is. It is, mate. Yes. Now, we're on the subject of Netflix, weren't we? So you and I, we were talking the other day about the coaches documentary or Netflix series that's come out around the coaches playbook, weren't we? And we were talking about some of the extraordinary personalities that feature on that, and probably the one that's closest to you and I maybe is Doc Rivers.
Yep, absolutely. And I know there's 5 parts to that. I watched the 2 which were basketball related, not because of basketball. I just had a bit more of a engagement
to
well.
it, yeah.
The other sports I sort of fast forward through and got a gist of it. But what got me with the other 2 was I felt that I was already doing that anyway with what I do and how I go about things. It just felt really strong. And then it went a little bit more detail, and I started doing a little bit of research, what I don't normally do. But Doc Rivers was the one that got me the most.
Yep.
But Dawn, what's her name? Staley or Staley?
Yeah.
South Carolina coach at college. She's amazing.
She is.
So what did you get out of? Let's talk about the Doc one, because we talk about the Netflix series the whole time, and probably won't give it to him. But what did you get out of the Doc one that resonated with you the most?
Well, look, again, being a Celtics fan, so I go back to 2008. That's a great year for the Boston Celtics, and I'm sure Doc Rivers is covered in the documentary around the whole Ubuntu concept there, and Dazzle will get you to explain a little bit more about that. So, but I guess it's something that it's a concept that we sort of live by, don't we, in terms of transition and transition sports and how we go about things as coaches. It can sometimes be it's a selfless sort of role, particularly at our level. I mean, we're not paid. Well, I'm not paid any sort of money for what I do at the VJBL sort of level and Big V level. So it's a selfless role. I think that's something that's probably the reason why I connected to it so well. And I think as a general basketball fan, who doesn't like this guy? I mean, he's come from it's an extraordinary background. It's a background you hear about more and more often, though, which is probably a sad thing a little bit in itself as well. So I think the way that he's able to bring a group of guys together and go forward and achieve great things speaks a lot about his character and what he's all about. Unfortunately, he just got sacked this week, but I'm sure there's more to the story than just him walking away or him parting ways with the Clippers this week. But you can't question this guy's character, can you?
No, and what got me into it is Doc Rivers. I like who he is, and just from what I see, not that we know him.
Yeah.
But the way he spoke and the way you said before, bringing things together, what I get a little bit lost, hence why I love seeing it when you actually see it happening at the highest level.
Yeah.
It should happen at all levels. Most successful things, or when they go to a rebuild phase, they've got to bring the group together.
Yes.
But he wasn't talking about the X and O's. He was talking about bringing the group together. And you said a word which I don't know if the viewers would have jumped on, but I don't know how to really say it. Ubuntu.
Ubuntu. Yep.
Which is a South African terminology or a philosophy, which sort of resonated and made more sense. Where if we try to say it's about helping people, engaging people, creating better versions, and all these things. But this philosophy just is simplified and just makes so much sense that he brought that in and then made the players get the buy-in, which made them work better together, collaborate together, and be successful together. But it wasn't about the X and O's.
No, it wasn't. I mean, you can take a look at that team, a championship-winning team, had 3 key pieces in it, 3 All-Stars and 3 Hall of Famers, no doubt. But you got to make it work. You got to make it work. You got 3 guys in. I'm sure they're on great coin, but you got to have your role players as well. And they're a team full of great role players that all bought in, contributed, not just on the court game day, but on the practice court, where that's where the real magic sort of happens with those teams. That's where the gelling and the connectivity starts to come in as a group. If you're going to have any chance to have yourself look at an opportunity where you're successful.
Well, like when they brought the big 3 in or brought them together for that year in Allen, Garnett, and Pierce, when they 3 big heavy leaders probably want to be the go-to guy. It's
3 alphas. 3 alphas, really.
Yeah. So you got 3 Michael Jordans in the same team concept. So who's the go-to guy? And the good concept was it doesn't really matter. You got to know when to step up. You got to know when to step back. You got to know when to play your role. And everyone just worked around. And it's not sacrificing. I don't want to hear the word I sacrifice my game. No, you play your role. If you need to take the shot, you don't take the shot. If you need to take the dribble drive, you don't take the dribble drive. If you need to play hard on defense and less offense, well, that's what your role is. It doesn't mean you're sacrificing your game. you're doing what's best for the team. And
Yeah.
I like the way he discusses it and brings it all together. So playbook, 5 parts, 5 different coaches from 2 from basketball and 3 from other sports, but it's worth watching. But let's discuss the philosophy as a
bit broader.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So South African philosophy, Ubuntu. The more you look up at it, you don't realize that how many people actually use this concept and philosophy or this base.
Yeah.
So I am because we are. Sort of makes sense. I am who I am because I need other people around me to become. So that makes sense.
Yes.
We are all connected, and that one can only grow and progress through the growth and progression of others.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. How many times you go to a book because you want to learn about what someone's done or what they've experienced in someone's story, or you watch someone do something and you learn from that and you pick a piece of that, or what someone's done wrong. You're not going to do the same thing. So you're learning from the people around you. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
We are all bound together in ways that can be invisible to the eye. That there is a oneness to humanity that we achieve ourselves by sharing ourselves with others and caring for those around us. Makes sense.
Yes,
I like it.
Absolutely. Yes.
And this is the main piece that I think is what was actually taken out of the playbook with Doc Rivers. This is the part he actually spoke of. You have to learn from other human beings to be human. A person is a person through other people. I can't be all I can be unless you are all you can be. I can never be threatened by you because you are good, but because the better you are, the better I am. Now, I can turn that straight away into, instead of saying you have to learn from other human beings, you have to learn from others to define you. That's how I'd change that sentence if I was in a team or working environment.
That's right.
A person is a person through other people. So that could be, as a player is a player through other players. A worker is a worker through other workers. Yeah, you can change that and you can use that anywhere in any scenario. And then you need the best version of you and you need the best version of the person around you.
That's right.
If they're good at what they do, you'll be better for what you do. And that just makes, and it just ties all together. So I'd suggest anyone look up this word, try and get some stories and people have used it. Some big names have used it, not just in sport, but political parties and working environments. But yeah, I'm amazed by it. And I don't really get straight onto an internet site and look up a word because normally I say, it sounds good. Yeah, I'll take a bit of information out of it. I actually done a bit of research. I was pretty happy with it, mate. So what are your thoughts on what of that philosophy? What are your thoughts?
Well, the proof's in the pudding a little bit, isn't it? I mean, I keep going back to they. I mean, they enjoyed such a successful period of basketball as a group and an organisation, and that's not by fluke. And it's not by fluke. They just didn't grab this word and put it in headlights and say, "Oh, yeah, we're going to live. We're going to live by that." Their actions showed they did. They played through an 80-game season, then playoffs, and had reasonably good success for over a number of seasons, and had role players come in, adapt, and give the best of themselves for their team. It's as simple as that. And you go, oh yeah, it's the NBA, and that's the highest level. But again, I come down to our level, Daz. We talk about junior sport, and a lot of what we see behaviour-wise is driven by a lot of outside and external influences. There's no doubt about that. But the thing that we need as coaches, we need our groups, not just our players group, our parent groups, our support groups to understand is we all want to be successful. We all want to work towards something, making people better or help making people better, help making each other better. Everyone's got to buy in and be the best version of themselves for that, to allow themselves to do that. I think that's really important. We've got to get away from this individualization stuff, this validation of looking at highlights on ESPN and saying, yeah, I want to be that person. That's not how it works. It's not how being successful works at all. What do you think about that?
No, you're spot on. And I'm probably me being me at the moment. I'm sort of stepping away from the actual basketball sense because I'm not really sure how things are going to look and feel once we sort of go back to a new phase of normal or a different normal.
It's going to be sorry.
Learning. No, it's life learnings now. It's going to be life. How we adapt.
Yeah, it's going to be so different. If you think you're just going to waltz back into maybe 4 weeks down the track, we're talking November, if you hear different things, tryouts and whatnot, maybe back, that's great. And it's going to be so awesome to be back doing what we love doing, but it's going to be different. And you're going to see straight away, and I spoke about this before, who's in whatever mindset they've been in over the last few months, and who's adjusted, developed, because just because you've been locked away a little bit doesn't mean that you haven't improved or adjusted your attitude, your outlook, all those sorts of things. It's all going to be on display. And whatever, the new norm sort of looks like going forward, those that are willing to be the best of themselves are going to really enjoy what the new norm is regardless, I would say.
And that's where I suppose the question mark for me is when we go back, we'll talk about basketball, is a basketball coach going to be a basketball coach from day one? Or they're going to have to navigate their way through and get a re-understanding of where the person was, where they're at, and where they need to be. Now, whether they have or haven't done what they should or shouldn't have done because we don't know the scenarios and we don't really know the environment they're under for sickness. We're talking about 6 months now.
Yes, that's right.
What I wonder whether this Ubuntu concept will come into play in a real meaningful way is that we need to actually help each other, learn from each other, support each other, back each other, but understand that we've all gone through it in our own unique way. There's no right or wrong. It is what it is. And I know it's a slogan we don't like to use. And it's probably not one, but it just seems to be the right way to say is when we go back to a basketball court, like me of TS, when those kids walk into my court, is it going to be straight into, okay, guys, start doing the drills? Or is it going to be a conversation? Is it going to be a mental engagement to get an understanding of what is the process going to be for the next few weeks? How do we get through it together? How do we help re-engage you, reinvent you, and rediscover you? That's what I'm just
rejuvenate. Rejuvenate. Rejuvenate's the word I feel like will be the word we might use a little bit. And even saying that, when we come back, what the norm will be, usually have you can have anywhere between 4 to 6 different tryout sessions. It may not even be that. It may be 2 or 3, and it's going to be a little fairly bit different in that regard as well.
Yeah, but and you're numbering in the old days like last year, you have one court for 20, another court for 20, another court for 20. There's 60 kids alone trying to make a team.
Yeah,
now you might be allowed to have 10 on that court, which means the trial's going to be harder to distinguish which players where. You're not going to be able to get them all mixing and marrying like you could normally over a couple of week process. We may rush back into it. Who knows? It's just going to be really unique on how we deliver the re-engagement, get them back on the floor, let alone worry about the X and O's, team selections, and all those things. Just that the word engagement, like you said, the rejuvenation, the rediscovery.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to see what will happen and which people will make the right. I don't know what the answers are yet, but who will take the right approach for the right reasons to get the right outcome. Does that make sense?
Exactly. 100% does. It'd be unrealistic. I think the coaches I've spoken with or have heard from, it's unrealistic just to expect us to pick it up and say, let's go. I don't think it's going to quite work that way. But in saying that, it's not going to work that way. But let's make a good fist of what the new sort of reality is, accept the new reality, and be the best version of ourselves again, and push on and help each other get better.
Oh, absolutely, mate, and that's great. So remember this, guys. Ubuntu or Ubuntu, UBUNTU. Hey, I've got a quote for you that I read. I was watching UFC the other day.
UFC,
yeah, love the UFC. I'm a UFC person, mate.
It's glorified cage fighting, Gazza, isn't it? Come on now,
love it.
Nothing beats the art of boxing, mate. Come on, nothing beats the art of boxing.
It means that you've got to actually. There's no time to dance and get back and dance. It's actually you got no choice but to get your hands dirty in there and just fight it out, mate. It's just I love that. You guarantee mate. You cannot hide and if they're going to kick you, hit you, there's minimal rules, but
there is minimal rules. I don't know. It's just
you can't do a 12 o'clock elbow apparently, but you can do everything else apparently. But
that's the modern day Colosseum, Dazza. Come on, let's just be real about that.
I'd love to be in the Roman days watching the gladiators go. Maybe I'm a bit not normal, but I love this stuff.
You're definitely not normal, mate. I cringe at that stuff now.
Well, Diego Sanchez. Just what do you thought of this comment? See what you need to see so you can be what you need to be.
That's interesting. See what you need to see.
So you can be
what you need to be. So is that more or less? I don't know this person, so from a bar. So, I was going to say you might know better than myself.
No,
so you basically,
he wrote it on a wall before a fight. That's it. No explanation. He gave a little bit, but not enough in detail to say, well, exactly what the true meaning is. But what are your gist on it?
Is it more or less saying the reality you're going to create for yourself be what it is?
I think. Oh yeah. It's. I think sometimes we get confused. I've done with a presentation about how obstacles hold us back.
Yeah.
The obstacles could be my fear of a mistake, people's judgment. I hold myself back sometimes, or people hold themselves from these obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wonder whether they say, well, instead of worrying about what you don't need to worry about, just focus on what you need to see, which is probably that goal. The goal is what you see. That's all you see.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Not the storm, not the things that's going to come in between you to try and stop you from achieving that goal. Just see that goal, so then you can be what you need to be, which means you'll do what you need to do to get to that goal and ignore the outside noise, ignore the obstacles, ignore the things that are going to be the in-between concept. So that's how I read it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but
yeah,
I feel the concept sort of makes sense, and I liked it when I saw it. I wrote it down.
Yeah, it's a good concept. I like it, apart from the sport, mate. But
I love it. Sorry,
it's a good concept because at the end of the day, and again, it probably goes back to we talk about a bit of self-reflection, and you control you as best you can. We acknowledge that there is outside influences, but they can obviously wear a person down, and some more than others, and some could not contribute to that as well. So I can sort of see that. At the end of the day, as well, I think. To what I said before around controlling your own reality, sometimes you can really limit that and limit the outside noise depending on who's so close to you in your own little circle. I think that can help prop you up, that you can help sort of or they can sort of depend on or ask for advice without that fear of judgment, or you can trust that sort of advice that's coming back to you, or observations, or their noticeability of what your behavior is, and offer that sort of constructive feedback as well. I think that's critical to have.
Oh, spot on. That's why I think coming out of COVID-19, and it's probably something I'm trying to go back to this negative thing that we're surrounded by, is they're actually going to see who your true platform is. Is it the same support platform that you had prior to what it's going to be when you come out of it? And it'll be interesting to see if there's a change and why the change, because a lot of people have got a lot of views and opinions on things right now, and they're actually pushing them in a way that I think is probably a bit out of control, or a bit ignorant or arrogant. Which either side, I'm not taking sides here. I'm just saying in generic. And sport and expectations. So I can see coaches are going to want expectations that, you had 6 months, you're late, you're this, or maybe understand there's going to be different reasons why people are the way they are. I just wonder if people's support platforms are going to be different to what it was prior to what it will be when we come out of this. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I agree.
Like Bevo said about his small group that he trusted, when he left the NBL, his group changed because they wanted to have that piece of that guy who's an NBL coach. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily they wanted to chat with Rob Beveridge. It was Rob Beveridge, the NBL coach, not Rob Beveridge, the person.
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, you can argue that now. I honestly think, I can honestly say over this last 6 months, it's been very interesting to see who is still wanting to probably be in touch with you and will check in on you, as opposed to those that don't. Look, that's life and reality, and things fall the way they fall. And again, as well, there's probably the other part which I won't know is how others are feeling and what they may be going through that may have influenced that change in relationship as well. So we hate this quote, but it can be what it is.
I used to do that. I thought, he's going to say it.
He's going to say it, yeah. No, that's right. So it's interesting. So we'll see how things sort of progress.
Absolutely. And the reason why I probably go into that now is coming out of it is you go work out where are people going to go. Are they going to change their habits? Are they going to change the way they engage? Are they going to keep their distance from those people that they don't probably want to be a part of anymore because they don't think they're the right values or right standards that they adhere to prior? It's going to be interesting how people are going to adapt coming out of it because there's so much to think about. You go back to being social again. You got to go back to engaging with people again, and you got to work out, well, do I want to engage there anymore? Do I want to engage? Do I go this way? Do I go that way? How am I going to deal with it? How am I going to cope with it? But on a positive.
Yeah, I was going to say the positive thing you're probably about to. I probably just took the words out of your mouth. The positive thing is you're going to find your way forward now. Maybe a real clear way forward for yourself, and a more defined view of yourself, a more defined view of who you want to be and what you're going to go after going forward as well. I think that's a real positive that can come out of where we've been.
Yeah, and that's exactly heading in that direction. You'll now probably just worry about what you can control. You'll really appreciate those simple things that you didn't realize that we didn't appreciate.
Yeah.
You really start taking true value on who the true friends are, who the ones aren't, the agenda-driven people, the ones who are just trying to get something out of you so they can get something in return. It's it's a gift for a gift. You pay me, I pay you. That type of concept. You'll get the real general people who are going to support you for the right reasons with no expectation something in return. If it comes, it comes. Great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It'll be interesting to see where it all how it all shapes and expands out. But I'm flat now. I'm struggling. I'm not going to say I've done this because I haven't.
No.
But I'm excited about when that time does come. I'm looking forward to seeing how I see things differently, how I hopefully will do things differently, and really, really appreciate the things that I was probably too busy and was unsure that I wasn't actually embracing when I should have. Not that I've done anything wrong. I'm just seeing things a little bit differently, and I use that the 5 cents concept. I don't know what you're like as I think we spoke about this before when we spoke about depression and mental health.
You
start smelling things better. You start to taste things with flavor. So which means you're getting that zest of life back. It's like when you get that spring in your step. You touch things, you actually feel it. When you do something, you actually, instead of saying, well, I've only got 5 minutes to do this, you're going to say, no, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to make the most of it, and then I'll go into my next task, whatever that task is.
No, I agree.
Does that make sense?
No, that makes 100% sense, Dazza.
I thought you were going to say 110% then. I was swear to God.
There's no such thing as 110%. It's 100%. That's it.
That would have been a debate in itself.
That's right. Now, Dazza, probably want to change tact a little bit here because I want to talk to you about this. So we all know we're in the cut and thrust of NBL, AFL finals right now. About to start.
Sure.
Now we spoke about this the other week, and I think we're going to have different views. So I want to put this on the table. Would you ever drop your captain on the eve of possibly achieving a finals berth? You got 2 games left in your regular season. It's all on the line. Would you ever drop your captain like the GWS Giants did 3 weeks ago? Discuss.
Look, I'm not trying to get out of this in a very delicate way. I'm going to be straight down the line. There's got to be a reason behind it. For me to even think that something's happening, whether it be personal, team orientation, or whether I don't want to see a captain's role taken off him, but a captain is still another player and has to be the best fit for that group that walks in that court or on that field. So for me personally, I'd have to weigh up. There's got to be a reason, first of all, what makes me think that he or she needs to be replaced. If I've done all my mathematical formulas and put all this and thought, well, what's best for the team, and there's going to be a reason why, because reason 1 will give me a different approach. Reason 2, I might go about it differently. But if I thought it was for the right reasons to try and get the right result for the individual and the group, I wouldn't say I'd have no hesitations because it would break me, it would tear me apart, but I'd make the decision that would need to be made. Yes, I would.
Big call. I think the argument.
It's something that's got to be there. There's got to be something for that to even be considered.
Look, there has to be something there. I think there's something that we, the public, probably don't even know about the situation. I think that's probably a given. The way you look at it, I should say, on face value is you got this person who's essentially elected by the player group at the start of the season, who this person embodies what we're about, or meant to be about, is either a leader by the way they conduct themselves, actions or words or motivational or whatever it is. But you can't tell me going into the two of the biggest games of the season when the team probably isn't playing that well as a collective. I think that's probably something that was happening, that there were other players who were playing just as bad, if not worse than this captain, and are not dropped as a result, or, given a lesser role. And yet you're going to make a sacrificial lamb in one respect of your captain.
Yeah, and with football,
two crucial games.
Yeah, you got players of 22. Basketball, you probably got a team of 10, scored 12, whatever.
So if we go to the basketball sort of concept, you may change your lineup or your sixth man coming in, or your role players, the way they sort of rotate in and out. Yeah.
So this conversation, because it's not a thing that would happen normally. This is not a norm, as we all agree. Yeah. But captains have been dropped throughout a season, which is not the same scenario. I get you're saying so much. I get it. Yeah. Which tells me there's a red flag straight away. Mm-hmm. The red flag is, and I'm just me being conspiracy theorist, which I hate. There's something that's missing in the whole package deal, because you're right. A bench player, or the 4 bench players, aren't going to be better than the captain. And even at 60%, the captain's going to be better. But something either could be personal that no one wants to divulge. There's got to be something that made them get down. Now, I haven't really seen the article. What was the captain's response?
There was no real response. There was no public response, which is either a good thing or a bad thing. Probably a good thing, as in I've accepted the coach's decision. I'm not even going to give it the time of day that the media probably is trying to drum up about it. So that's probably the best way to take it. So
that discussion alone then tells me I've got to give the club and the player a big tick, because whatever it is, it's staying in-house.
Yes.
Whatever it is, so that tells me that's a true leader. The leader has done exactly what his role should be. Whatever the reason is, whatever the club made a decision, and maybe the club didn't make the decision. Maybe it was I don't know. It just there's got to be some reason where, and I've got to give him credit then. If there's been no comment really made from the club and the player, disenchantment or this and this, but it's only the media doing the speculation. Yeah. I'm going to say that club's done an amazing job as a club, and with their leader to be able to contain that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I just wasn't sure for me personally. I'm not sure that I would, given where things are at, relegate the captain out of the team or give them a lesser role on game day. It astounds me still a little bit.
Yeah, and that makes look. We might even know that there might be a slight little tear somewhere. It's not really an injury, but we could lose the whole player in a. And the way that they're doing the hub game itself, it's quick, fast. Maybe the body isn't up to doing that. Who knows? I don't know. But
who knows? But anyway, they went on and lost their last 2 games. so you can sort of argue anyway that it didn't work either way or the other. That's an interesting observation, I thought.
But a great way to raise it, because I think at the end of the day, is the question would be is you got to do what's best for the team, and it's not just the captain now. It's the whole governing body. Everyone who's involved in that team and club, everyone's got an important role, and you've got to make that decision that's going to go. It's either going to go for or against. And I'd love to know the real reason, but because we don't have it, we've got to go on perspective view. And it's not good to see the captain out. No, I don't agree. I don't think it looks good, but it just tells me it's a red flag. But that's just my thoughts.
Exactly.
It's eating you up, isn't it?
It made my jaw hit the floor. I don't know. Maybe it's just one of the values that I hold really dear is if someone's elected by the playing group and is meant to embody what we're about, and the voice of the group, the head of the group. Not to say there's a hierarchy sort of thing, but someone that the people look up to and they want to play alongside of day in, day out. I just find it very, very strange that would be considered, I guess, a last resort with 2 games to go, with your season on the line. I can't compute it.
Yeah. Something's amiss.
Yeah, something's amiss.
As you know, me, being me, I didn't watch the game today. Did you watch the game today?
Absolutely.
So, what are your thoughts? I know there's a bit of a smashing at one end. Me being me, I love basketball. I'd like to have a break too, because I'm just trying to get my head around some other things. And I like the games when they get close to a decider. I don't like these 1 or 2 games where you win or lose another game, win or lose another game. But when it gets close to where we might see that final score is a decider, I get my juices flowing, and I'll be watching those games.
Yeah.
Right or wrong. So give me a bit of a brief. What are your thoughts on the game? How's it looking?
Look, the Lakers were great today, Daz. Real team basketball. I will say this: the Heat had Dragic go down earlier in the game and didn't return.
Is that suspect for next game?
Yeah, that's going to have a big impact for them. The guy is generally sort of runs the floor, is effective both ends of the floor, plays great defense, great offense, can shoot it, can pass it, great facilitator. So, look, that hurt him. I think that Jimmy Butler also got hurt with an ankle in the first half as well. So there's little factors there from the Heat today that contributed to them not putting on a great performance. But it's a 7-game series and a lot of things can happen. I'm sure they'll just readjust. And sometimes with these series, even though it may be nearly a 30-point loss, sometimes you have a really bad day. And I'm sure they'll be working towards making amends for that. But can't take anything away from the Lakers, mate. LeBron, Anthony Davis, but just the role players. You look at the role players in these series, you sort of see what they're contributing. The guys that come off the bench or the guys that know they usually play, that lesser role, they were all on and they all look switched on and engaged. So, I mean, if you look at it like that, it's hard to go past the Lakers given what they dished up today. That's for sure.
I got to give any sport that's in these hubs, there is a sacrifice now because you're actually locked in. And I know they've probably got a little bit better because of what they can have in the hub, but it must be hard. This season's unique for the sports that are doing it. And the ones, I think I read in the paper about the AFL where they said whoever wins this final, it's unique. I mean, that's a tough side that's been able to adapt, do things outside the norm that's not part of their norm. I know at the NBA level, they're probably living life a little bit more easier. I did see LeBron's room, which was pretty freaking amazing. But
yes, that's right.
I don't care what anyone says. If that's affecting your family time and your normal lifestyle, it still feels to what you're used to. It is a massive, massive change. So credit all the players out there that are doing the best they can to fulfill their role as a professional athlete, but also to put on something that's a show for their supporters. So I'll give them a massive clap on that. Amazing.
Absolutely. And just one other thing on that is the support people who have given up time away from their families to go and still contribute to their organizations and their teams and stuff in the unsung hero sort of roles. Again, those people deserve a huge pat on the back as well. That's for sure.
Yeah, so good job all around for all the governing bodies that are trying to get this up and running. I know they also need financially to be viable, so they've got to keep it going, but it also is for the fans. It also is to give some sort of engagement. Without that, we'd all be even struggling even more.
That's right.
Hey, Azza, we made a decision that we were going to not do an hour show, so we're at 37 minutes. So we did make a deal that we're going to try and do a 35 to a 40, so we're getting there.
That's right.
So we'll start to head direction in where we're going to go into the off mode or shutdown mode or end the segment mode. How you feeling about things? What are you looking forward to over the next couple of weeks? What's in it for Aaron Benstead? What's in the pipeline? Is it just the same, or is there are you getting a new feeling coming because we are at the back end of this problem right now?
Yeah. Well, look, change of season's always great getting out of winter. I hate winter. I sook and moan all the way through it, as you know, Dazza. So for me, look, I'm starting a new professional job in the next little bit, so I'm really excited about that. Some familiar faces there too, so that's great to see some really good people that I'll be working with. So I'm really excited about that. I'm anticipating that as things continue to progress reasonably well by the looks of it, that hopefully we'll be back on the basketball court really soon. So I'm looking forward to that, and I can't wait. I feel like I've had a really great holiday in that regard. So I'll be pretty rejuvenated and pretty energetic, I think, to get stuck back into that side of my life as well.
Yeah. Oh, good job, mate. Well, good luck with that new job and what's happening there, and amazing things, mate. I love you being a part of this.
Yes, no, this won't go away. That's for sure.
Good job. Hey, little message I want to say to people that my view doesn't really have this big impact, but just something I want to say is it's time we start to find what's good in our lives. We know it's tough. We know it's a struggle. We know we've seen all the reasons why we can be down and out, and I get it. I'm down and out. I've been flat. I've been this, and I'm not saying that I'm over it. All I'm saying is there are times where I need to look and reevaluate and look around me, what I do have.
Yeah.
what I still have.
Yeah.
And it's not financial. It's not, yeah, my business may not reopen. I get that. But you know what? I've got what I need around me, and they're the people that matter most. And that's the most important thing. Please, guys, embrace what you have. Find a little bit more positivity within what you have or what you've achieved or what you've done or who you are as a person, because the negativity, the divide, I'm not saying I'm on either side. I'm not. I'm just saying there's a divide in community, and it's just getting worse and worse, and it's getting more and more of a very, very heavy cloud, dark storm. We should be seeing more light. I'm just seeing more darkness. So
yeah, that's a great thing to say, Daz. I do agree. Look, irrespective of what your personal view is, I think we're going to come together out of this. The great things are learned through adversity, and this is the biggest adversity so many of us have probably experienced in our lifetime. Some more than others. I do acknowledge that, but we've got to come together out of this and just enjoy what we do have, because we do have more than what we usually realize sometimes.
Absolutely. And the ones who are genuinely down and out, and they feel they're at the bottom of that pit, they're the ones I'm really going to strongly suggest reach out to someone. There is someone who will take that call. There is someone who will take that message. Whoever that person may be. If you can't find them, my phone call, my details, reach out, and as long as I maintain you refocus, I'm all in.
Yep.
But some people aren't down and out in that way. They're just feeling a little bit shitty, feel a bit frustrated. That's not down and out. That's hurting. You're frustrated. I get all that. I'm doing that too. But there are ones who are generally down and out. Let's get them up and let's get them up and about and see if we can maintain a little bit more of a positive environment, and one and all in, hopefully together, we will be strong. That's the concept. So
100%.
Hence why there's not a plug. Transition Media Group is that's the purpose. We're trying to maintain a connection engagement where I don't know how it's going to look. It's not going to be professional. It's not going to be where it's going to be all these bright lights, bells and whistles. It's just going to be me with the right people in Azure and a few other people that are just going to create platforms, create ways of engaging, and hopefully refocusing and reshifting on how we think.
That's right.
All right. Well, as our normal one is, we stay safe, stay well, stay strong. Please
look after each other.
Yeah. Reach out, reevaluate, reflect, and just think there are some good things to come for us in what we have moving forward. Love to all. We're out. Another episode done and dusted. But guys, we miss you. Can't wait to get back to some sort of normality, whatever that looks like. I don't care. I'll embrace it. And see you when we get back.
That's
all right, guys.
it.
All right, that's that.
See you guys.
See you guys.
See you, Dazza.
Love you all.